It boils down to the perception that we have around what we label true and what we choose to embody in our lives. Welcome to the first ever solo cast for the Coherent Collective podcast. I'm your host, Joanna Rosenthal, and I am grateful that you are here. Prior to recording this podcast, I got the pull to talk about this. What are we? What are we made of? Why are we here in the first place? What is even the purpose of existing on this planet? And why did we even, if we did, choose to experience these past handful of years in particular, right? We can ask those questions, but I'd like to rewind it a tiny bit and talk about what we are. When we boil it down to what energy is, it is positive and negative forces coming together to create friction, right? And the friction emits something. Even in our cells, we have protons, electrons, and neutrons, and each of these emit one of those things, the positive force, the negative force, and then there's the neutral force. But having positive forces and negative forces in our bodies, right? It creates, when it comes together, friction of some kind. The friction within ourselves emits light and it creates movement, which also ends up emitting some sort of sound to a certain capacity on both ends. Some we see, some we hear, and when things are tighter in our body, there might be more friction. When things are looser in our body, we might feel more flowy. And that coincides with everything else, right? Everything that we can physically see in our existence, not necessarily physically see, but even like the gaps between myself and the phone, all have light or sound being emitted through it. And when we see and we understand the world in that way, what do we do with it now, right? If we're all boiling down ourselves and our essence to these frequencies, can we manipulate our internal realities on the flip of a switch? I believe so. And I believe that everyone has the power to do that because we have the power of free will coinciding with what is a greater destiny, right? Now we know, now we're aware from listening to this that there's these energetic patterns that exist. So if we have it on this plane, this reality, this tangible thing where I can feel and touch, that equates to a third dimension reality. Now we have it in the sense of time space, which is the dimension that creates a more, in the third dimension, a linear element to us. And then we have fifth dimension reality where it's almost like immediate things can happen to us. It's like if we believe something almost immediately, we can achieve it almost immediately. And it boils down to the perception that we have around what we label true and what we choose to embody in our lives. So we keep going up, and the further higher up we go into these higher dimensional realities, the more connected our energy becomes because things are more open. Being in this dimension that is very dense, it creates this separation, and the illusion of separation is real in this plane. The illusion of separation is real in lower dimensional planes. So we have to acknowledge that. But as we keep going up into fractals that were once not a fractal, as we get further and further up into what people liken to source frequency or the everything and the nothing or what have you. I mean, it's like we have all of these universes that end up connecting and connecting and connecting. And then we get to harmony. And this harmony is like everything is there. And at the same time, there's like nothing there. It's devoid of like the sound, the light frequencies. So now what do? I mean, we could come back down here to experience. We are energetic meat sacks that have the opportunity to manipulate our energy to experience life to the fullest, whatever the fullest means. Are you full of anger and it has to be shown? And that it can be transmuted. It could be put elsewhere. That energy could be used to leave the world in a greater place. We can showcase the power that we all have because we're all connected through this energetic essence. I am just as connected to this chair, even though it doesn't necessarily have soul, right? As I am to the words that I'm saying. Because it all emits frequencies. What we resonate with, what we connect to, typically just ends up having a very similar wavelength pattern. So, now what do we do? I think the awareness of this is step one. Taking the acknowledgement that, we are here to experience our individuality, while understanding that I'm no different from anything that's in my view, anything that's in my subconscious, anything that's out of my brain or visual pattern. I'm no different from people who have a completely different belief than me. I am just another side of that coin. So acknowledging that maybe some people might not be coming from a heart coherent space, or things might not be coming from a heart coherent space, allows us to have more awareness around what we in the individual sense can do to play a part. The question is, where is it coming from? Is it coming from fear? Is it coming from being emboldened, empowered, enlightened, feeling like I am going to dominate this? Is it coming from the heart space that you just want to spread all of this yummy wisdom? Or you want to share your story, even if it comes from grief or being scared, but the words are coming from the heart? Or is it coming from your head? Because your ego is wrapping things up in something that maybe doesn't serve you anymore. Question where your words are coming from, question where your actions are coming from, and recognize that you have the ability to manipulate the frequencies that come within you. And that makes you really powerful. My intention here is that you take the power that you have, the innate gifts and abilities that you have, and you choose to make something better of your name, of the world around you, of more connection, of deeper experiences to love and empowering your people with this information. So I'm sending this one out into the airwaves. Once you have the power to recognize with the ability of intention and intention alone that your actions are typically subsequent to the stories that you have, or your inaction, that you have the ability to turn things on and turn things off very quickly, that you can do anything that you've had the desire to do for a long time, that you have it in you. So take my words and drop information below as to what resonates with you. And I hope to see you in the next episode.